You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
One little spark of inspiration is at the heart of all creation.
Spark a dream that we're meant to follow.
You're listening to the Extra Magic Hour, brought to you by Walt's Apartment Podcast and the DisInsider. Join the team in the studio as they bring you the spirit of Disney through park news, history, and tips and tricks to make your Disney Parks vacation even more magical.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Extra Magic Hour. We are a Disney Parks podcast brought to you by DisInsider.com and Walt's Apartment Podcast. I'm so happy to be back again. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had our last show, and I'm so excited to be back with my Disney friends here. We got Lewis, Sunken City Designs. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. I'm so glad I controlled games on Wednesdays because I don't have to read all the punishments, but It's doing great.
How's the transition going over into full time?
Dude, it's been busy. So a buddy that's kind of hired me, he's been busy with stickers, but ironically, I think I've been able to promote more, and I've gotten a handful of commissions. So on Wednesdays now, you'll see the new background. I know they can't see it right now, but yeah. So I'm excited. Looking forward to other projects that I have coming up.
Love it. And then we have the voice of our Getaway Today commercials, the one, the only, Cole Hefner. How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm all right. It's crazy at work and busy, but end of the year, so we're working on all that stuff and personal things going on that we get to wrap up here soon. So everything's good. It's going to be good. We got lots of fun things coming our way. So we have a pretty cool show. We're going to talk some parks news. Sam is not here tonight. Brianna is not here tonight. They will both be back hopefully next time. Sam has been going all day. Brianna's working again. So we'll see them back soon after Thanksgiving break. But we got some fun things to talk about, some interesting topics to talk about, which I think with this group right here, I think we're going to have some good conversation because I'm sitting here with the two most opinionated people on Walt's Apartment Podcast Network. So it's going to be fun and to listen to what they have to think about things. And neither one of them hold back on what they have to say. So it'll be fun. So make sure you check out all of our other shows. We have Main Street View, Knights of the Rogue Republic, Marvel Tribe, the main Walt's Apartment Live podcast on Wednesday nights. It comes out on Thursdays. And then obviously this show here, we're happy to have you here. Thank you to our sponsor Getaway Today, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in a little bit, Designer Park Co. And make sure you check out sunkencitydesigns.com for all of Lewis's cool stuff. So let's get into this. Let's talk some Disney Parks news. A lot's happening. Christmas just started last week. Castle looks great. Castles look great. Small World looks great. Small World's actually working this year. Last year it was broken. Remember had all the issues with
the hula girls are working. All the hula girls are back.
Hula girls are working. Small World Holiday has, which I think this isn't even a story, but I mean, we didn't talk about this, but the inclusionary stuff that they're doing now, they have a couple of the animatronics in wheelchairs. Bravo to Disney for doing that. I mean, it's good to see that stuff in a world that we live in right now where everyone is so anti this and anti that. But for them to say, go ahead.
Is this like a really messed up thing to say? But I kind of feel like I want to see like an ADHD like human running around, like, because
not at all.
That's the sign of the time. So if they're really going to be all inclusive, like, I think that we need to have some hot mess in there.
Some hot mess.
No, I agree. I touched on this when we did our podcast a few weeks back. We had Matt with us, and I thought I was overrated or underrated. We were playing, and I thought Small World was overrated because of the fact that we know what it is. Like we know what it is, and it can be. And adding the animatronics to the wheelchair and updating it every so often, and not making a big deal about it, but just throwing small little hints in there. I think that's what makes Small World stay alive. Before this, Small World made its transition to the holidays, went back during the year, and that was it. The biggest transition was when they added the new characters in there.
Yep.
So for me, I'm glad they did this, and I look forward to seeing what else they change in that ride, but just small little hints here and there.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. And Disney didn't advertise this. From what I had seen,
they shouldn't.
Kate, like the Orange County Register and KTLA News, reported on it. I mean, maybe I don't know if they were tipped off, but it was nice that Disney didn't say, "Come check out our new inclusionary thing." No, they were just like, "Here's what we're doing," and I think it's great. And I hope those characters stay after the holiday. That they stay there still singing. I'm sure they will at this point. So
it was just really nice to see them take time. Well, for one, she had just passed, so here, they just kind of gave the ride, like they utilized that time wisely by it being down for a little bit to do the holiday. And then they also I'm so happy that my hula girls are back. All three of them are hula-ing.
Yeah. They're doing their thing.
Yeah. So happy. Yeah. Hula-ing. That's a word now.
It is now.
And so they used that time wisely just to kind of give it like a little love. The ride needed a little love. So I'm excited for it.
Yep. And I think all three of us are going to be there on January 27th for Disney 100 kickoff day, right? We're all going to be there.
So exciting.
It's going to be so cool. I get to do Minnie's Runaway Railway. Hey, I said it right. So that's cool.
Nice job.
Yeah, it's going to be, I can't wait for that. It's going to be fun to see. I've never been to like the first day of something, to get that first, oh my God, everyone's there. You're going to see every single person you can think of at that time that wants to be there to see a brand new ride, and we get to be there and experience that. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
I just love being in the parks with you guys. Like, I feel like you guys match my Disney adult energy. And then to know that, like, we get to see Getaway today as well and hang out with Kim. And, like, it's so much fun to be in the park with you guys and just be like, let's go. We're going to wait 3 hours and we're going to ride this ride or whatever.
I don't know if I'm speaking for Lewis as well, but I appreciate being there with you because you handled the Genie Plus and I didn't have to. So it worked for me. So Mom handled everything and it was all good.
Oh yeah. I'm always down for Disney Day, especially when it's with people that are just talking Disney.
That's going to be a special day. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be a long day for me because I'm going to have to jet out of here at like 3:30 again, but I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day. Let's get into the news. So biggest thing actually today on November 16th, out of nowhere, I think Nicole mentioned this a couple of weeks ago that it was possibly coming or rumors of it, but starting today, November 16th, Magic Key renewals are back in full force. It wasn't announced. It wasn't saying, hey, check it out this day. I was joking beforehand before we got on here. Maybe they just want to compete with Taylor Swift. I don't know. She sold out all those things yesterday. They just want to make some money too. So yeah, Magic Keys are back. The big prices are the same as they are for when you could renew them. Biggest thing that's different on this. No enchant key. That's the biggest thing on that is no enchant key. But because I have a feeling the enchant key is probably the most popular key because it's a lower price point. It's still 4 reservations. I know that's what all three of us have, right?
Yep.
You both live in California.
I use the shit
Yes.
out of my pass. I have had no problem.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if I've seen anyone that probably got the most from her $700, it was you. I mean, didn't you say you went you can go 30 times?
I went like a billion times last time.
On your last pass.
Yeah. It was great.
So, I mean, it's for you, it's a brilliant, I mean, for anyone who uses it, it's a brilliant freaking thing. $700. It's normally $200 for one day now for a park hop. Use that thing 3.5 times. It's used. You've made your money off of it, so. Not even
3.5 trips. It's 3.5 days.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. 3.5 days.
And it's paid for.
Done.
Yeah.
and you can continue to go down. You guys both live a lot closer, so it's nice. You can just bounce down or bounce up or whatever. But Cole, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on them just out of the blue saying, hey, here's now anyone can buy Magic Keys again?
I'm super shocked that they didn't do any kind of announcement. It's not like them. And I think it was the last episode we did. I could have sworn, and I am not a girl to report false news, but I could have sworn that they talked about. News. I know. I totally was fake newsing it. I could have swore that they already mentioned that they were going to do it. So I'm not sure if we missed something and they put out a date, or I don't know. I got some feels why?
Joey texted me 3 days later, said, hey, Nicole said that they're renewing. I said, I don't know. I heard her say that too, and I wasn't sure because I hadn't heard anything either. But hey, it's cool. It's fake news. You're just reporting the fake news, Nicole.
I did. Yeah. I did that. You're welcome. Yeah.
Really big fake news right here.
I was looking into the future.
Dang, clickbait. That's what you did to us. Clickbait.
I did.
There you go.
Put it out into the universe.
It's all good, though. But what are your thoughts on it?
I kind of feel like it's a little shady. Why all of a sudden? I don't know. They didn't even announce it.
I know why.
One of my good friends, I work with her, and she was going into a meeting today, and she's like, yo, I got 20 minutes left in line. You got to come sit in my office. Here's my credit card. And so I was like, I got you. It's fine. I set up shop in her office today.
Where do you work again?
With her credit card. We're not going to disclose where I work.
I thought she was for a minute. She said, wait, hold on. Nope.
It was a for real thing. It was so funny. But I got her the freaking ticket. So it's all good.
Good deal.
Yeah. Big Al, what's your feels?
Oh, I'm all over the place, dude. It's such a bad message. This is gonna tie into my news story, but let's announce cutbacks, hiring freezes. Let's bring out Magic Keys. And it's only been 2 months, 3 months since they stopped selling them. And you didn't change nothing. What did you do? This is the problem that I have with Disney, is they're not giving us more. They're not giving us less. They're just out there like the damn progressive guy. I caught you $1. That's all they're doing. They're not doing anything for it's. Why did you stop it? I think what happened is they finally seen that the renewal rate wasn't happening. They wanted to okay, let's get everybody to renew, because Enchant Key is the only one that hasn't came back. The Enchant Key probably is full because he would have had the Imagine Key was I want more than 2 days, so they bumped up. And then the Enchant Key, if I'm not mistaken, the Enchant Key is the lowest tier key for out of state residents, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
It is.
So
No, it is.
It's the lowest. So therefore, that one right there is at high demand because it's the lowest tier. And for locals, everyone knows Disneyland's a local park. You don't want 2 days. You can't sit on 2 days and expect to have a good time. You're not going to get your money's worth because you have to be very nitpicky of when you go. And not only that, I think they dropped all weekends for the Imagine Key. So there's not even a single weekend no more. Now it's just a Monday through Thursday, some Friday. So they forced that so everyone didn't chant. But I think them just dropping this out of nowhere on a Wednesday, it's not even it's
a Tuesday or a Friday.
Nothing. And not only that, there is rumor that there was a glitch in the system, and I don't know how factual it is, so it is a rumor. But if you got the Inspire or Believe key, you had access to reserve the week before and the week after Christmas. That may be a glitch, that may not be. But if you secured those reservations, I'm curious how Disney's going to either retroact that, saying, no, that was a glitch, or are guests now going to be able to go Christmas Eve, the 23rd, the day after Christmas, and what is that going to spark for Disney? Are they going to catch in the lawsuit? So for them releasing Magic Keys out of nowhere, for me, sends more alarms than bells for Disney. It really screams something of an unorganized business.
Mm-mm.
It's very haphazard of them, very irresponsible of them. However, did we confirm? This was my thing today. So I did hear like the whole rumor of the days opening, right? And I have to say that in the beginning, I didn't have like the week after New Year's. But now, as of a few weeks ago, I do. And I booked it. And I have like weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday availability. Mm-hmm. So are we sure that they didn't open it up for everyone and just everyone hasn't reassessed? Because I have found during this process that there's dates that I didn't have before that all of a sudden I'm like, oh, tra-la-la-la, like I got an extra day. So I mean, I don't want to make an assumption and be angry. I'm trying not to be negative Nelly with this, but maybe we have some other dates that have opened up.
They did stop the reservations for, I want to say, all passes for a brief moment there that you couldn't reserve past January 8th. And everybody was
that was right before. Yeah, that was when. That's right when they announced Disney 100 because they weren't sure. Yeah.
But I mean, then again, though, I mean, I feel like the reservation system. That's why we can only book 3 months out because they try to forecast. Oh well, this is opening, so we won't open. Why? There is no reason for that. I mean, and you can compare it to any other park with or without the reservation system. If I go to Universal Studios, I got to buy tickets for next November right now. Like, it's simple as that. So for me, I don't know why they're doing this, and it just makes Disney look way more shady and really unethical about it. Like, come on.
I've always been 3 months, though. Like, even before the reservation system came to be, my first Disney pass, I always had to make reservations. And I could, when nobody else had to, I always had to, like before COVID. And it was always the 4 days, and it was always the same thing on a rolling like 3 months. So I guess I haven't like tripped off of that as much as because that's all I've ever known with my pass is 3 months. Like that's all I've ever had.
You had to make reservations.
I haven't known different. Huh?
You had to make reservations prior to COVID?
Yeah, I had to make reservations with my pass.
Which pass did you have?
Whatever the lowest one.
Oh, was it
the Flex Pass?
Oh, okay, yeah, that was a lot different.
Yeah. The Flex Pass is basically the enchant key now. That's the same thing now, basically.
Like I had nothing really changed for me except the price went up like $100. But I always had to make a reservation. Same thing. Like it looks exactly the same as it did pre-COVID.
Okay, I have different thoughts on this than both of you. You guys said there's like shenanigans and shadiness. You saw a couple of weeks ago, they announced fourth quarter, numbers for Disney, stocks falling, all that stuff. Disney still is a business. Disney is doing what they need to do to try and save that business. I mean, right now, I just got an email, I think yesterday, that my Disney Plus is going up from $8.99 to $10.99. And if I don't go in and change that, it's just going to happen. So, and that's like on December 12th, that's happening. So you think about that. If there's 160 million people that have Disney Plus, it's going to go up $2. It's a nice cash, increase for quarter four. Another way to make money is to give the people what they want, which everyone has said they want the magic keys. They raised the price of tickets in Walt Disney World yesterday or the day before. That was expected as well. This is a business move. Straight, pure and simple. It's a business move to try and influx some cash into the business, and it will do that because that's guaranteed money for Walt Disney Company, Disney Company, whatever they're called these days, Disney. It's guaranteed money. If I was to do this tomorrow, that's $700 they're going to get from Sean. You guys are do the payments, so they know they have you locked in for a year, and they're going to make money off you. What they're doing, it's all business, and I understand that from a business aspect and a business point. And I know we're going to talk about the hiring freeze in a second. I think it all goes back to the same, and I think they're trying to save face by doing this. I think it's a brilliant business move to giving people what they've been asking for. Everyone is excited and wants to get these passes and wants to buy these passes. If you didn't get it the first time around, now you can. So
well, and it's the holidays. So like gifts, that's going to be Christmas.
It's a great gift. It is.
And you have all these people who bought like 3, 4, 5 day hoppers that now can upgrade. Yep. They're hoping to upgrade their tickets. Now they have to go into the park and use them at least once, but like those people who are going to go next week for Thanksgiving now can upgrade their pass. So, I mean, I want to say that we didn't know about it, but I promise you, I read something that
you didn't just say that for some reason. So I
know for sure I read it. I just feel like everything else has been such an announcement.
Right.
And it, like, I'm not one to be negative on Disney. Like that is my getaway, but I just feel like why? And I'd like to believe it's because it's the holidays and whatever. And I got some feels around this freeze, but can we just get into that? Like, I'm feeling feisty. I really want to hear Big Lou. Like,
it's funny.
Like, I'm in for it.
You mentioned. Go ahead. That's real quick. You mentioned the thing about this being a surprise. You know, Amber from the DisInsider, who we met when we were down there at D23, she waited 5.5 hours to get her tickets for her and her husband Chris. So people were prepared. I mean, not that they weren't prepared to, but they sat online and did it. You did it for your boss for however long. It's something everybody wants, and it came up, and like, well, hell yeah, we're going to do this. Sign me up right now. Let's go. You know, so good on you, Disney. Try to make some extra bucks. I'm sure it worked. So,
and I get the business side of it, but at the same time, you have people in your company that you pay to monitor this. So they look at the fourth quarter earnings report, stuff like that. You start looking at that. You have guys that analyze this stuff like, hey, we're not looking so hot. I'm sure they knew about this little deficit probably a month or two ago, 3 months ago at max. Why did they stop the Magic Keys? Why did they stop that?
Lawsuit.
They stopped the Dream Key because of that, but they could have renewed. The lawsuit's not over yet; it's still ongoing. The reservation system, I get, is not going nowhere, but you're not even making an attempt to try to revise it. You just brought these Magic Key back because and for me, I get it's a business aspect of it, but it looks like a sloppy business aspect. You're throwing out these and we saw it in that video. They're throwing out these random discounts, random numbers. It's not even consistent. You'll get like 30% off or 25% off, and it's like, what are you doing? And then you find out it's only at these select stores. It's like, what? The Magic Bands. The Magic Bands is a perfect example of business gone wrong. You bring that out, and it does like two functions. Why did you bring that out? To make money. We get it. But it's way too obvious that you're just cashing in on them, knowing people are going to buy them. And honestly, I think they're going to die out before they ever get their chance to be what they could be, like they are in Walt Disney World. I don't see Magic Bands being that cool in Disneyland Park, primarily because they rushed them prematurely. And why? Because their stocks are dropping. Stocks are dropping crazy. Since the beginning of the year, they opened up at, I think, 163 in January, and they're sitting just at under 95 now.
Shit.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. I mean, last week it was at 87. So you're about half there, and this isn't a year. What is the real critical reason why stocks are dropping? There's got to be something else.
Well, I mean, everything has gone up in price. Like, my daughter's bread is like over $10 a loaf. Like, so it could be that too. Like, just the economy. Like,
I think a lot of it, Lewis, is that video you sent me. Nicole, I just sent you the link to that on your messenger.
Okay.
You can watch it. It's like an hour long, but it's really, really good. And I think all that caught up. I think everything from the past is caught up, and then COVID didn't help, obviously. So they're trying to do what they can do. I mean, they said on the quarter four report that they're losing money with Disney Plus right now. So the parks the parks and the movies are trying to recoup that cost, which they're putting all their eggs in that. This isn't a Disney Plus podcast, but it goes down the same thing. Everything is being done right now to boost Disney Plus because it costs them more money than they thought. I mean, if you make 9-episode shows that are going to cost you the same price it is to make a major motion picture, there's going to be a point to where you're going to be like, oh crap, we're spending too much money. And that's kind of where they're at right now. They're relying on the parks to do that, which is the Genie Plus, which is now that the annual passes, the price increases. They're going to rely on the parks, which are one of their biggest driving forces of their business to carry their business like it did when Michael Eisner was there. They used the parks to feed everything else. And that's what this is really all about, is the more they can get into the parks, the more money they can make to disperse it everywhere else in the company. That's my thought.
They're trying to be, they're not trying to be. Disney has become a jack of all trade, but a master of none.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pixar movies, why aren't those going to theaters? Those usually make good money.
Yep.
Why? I know we watched the video, but the Pixar movies are trash. Like, they're not good. They're
not as good as they were before. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, they're not good. The Disney Plus shows, they're okay, but you get one for every 10 bad ones.
Yeah.
The movies, I mean, there's so much stuff that they're trying to not get rich quick schemes, but they're let's fix the stock market quick schemes, and they're not working. Why did you cancel Merriest Nights this year? Like,
yeah.
Why? Because fans were complaining? Oh, well, fans always complain when they come around. But guess what they're not doing now? They're not stopping complaining. You're not giving them anything to say, you know what? It was a damn good job. They're just not. Nothing is no more.
That's fair.
But don't they rotate? So for the Merriest Nights, how am I? Like right now, they're going to use DCA and whatever the food festival is, right? Mm-hmm. Normally, they don't do a holiday food festival.
Right.
Normally, they do the Chinese New Year. So is it that they're not doing the Merriest Nights, or they're doing a rotation of, like, because a lot of the times those parks will flip. And so, and every other year or whatever. And so I thought that maybe the reason why they weren't doing Merriest Nights is because this year they're doing like I forget what it's called, like a holiday food festival.
Right.
And instead of, so I don't know, like that was just kind of my thought, is that they were rotating.
It could be. Well, but I mean,
want to say yes, but then again though, Merriest Nights takes place at Disneyland. And the holiday festival takes place at DCA.
Could be a staffing
issue. But don't they switch parks? Like, or not switch parks, but like, I thought that like 1 year like DCA will do something, and then another year Disneyland, like just to kind of balance out, or no?
That might be a thing.
All I know
is I feel like I've seen food carts at DCA. So many. I feel like every other month I go, they're hauling those little houses out again. I'm like, geez. Before, the Food and Wine Festival used to be like a once-a-year thing, but I feel like I see those little food houses.
They're moneymakers. They're moneymakers.
Oh,
you
yeah.
buy those little, $95 for a food cart? Buy those little card, and you get to eat 8 things or whatever it is. I mean, come on. That makes more sense than trying to put on a whole production of the Merriest Nights, which probably costs more to put on than it does to make to sell some food and probably make the same amount of money. It's, again, probably all a business decision. So I agree with you, Nicole.
That's a California thing too right now. It's like these little pop-up shops and like
I agree
California
with you.
is very
I didn't even think about it that way until you said that.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. But, I mean, to quote Sam, like she always says, why not both? I mean, why not do both? I mean, obviously, it's probably money because they can't afford to put on the Merriest Nights and hire a staff that has to work late into the night. But I mean, they were charging $200 a person for that last year. Wow. So it was the highest price thing they had, you know.
They need to decorate these money schemes, though, as magic schemes. Don't make it seem like you're just in there for the dollar. Give us a reason to believe that you're there for the magic. We all know that Disney's in it for the dollar. It's a business. I couldn't say that any differently. But give us as fans, where we are willing to fork out that money because we know we want that magic, give us that fair return. I feel like right now it's too blatant obvious that it's for the dollar and not for the magic.
Yeah, because, that's I second that, because you go into the park and you shut out like your whole world, right? So even though you're on your phone booking things and doing things, like, at least for me, I shut out the world. And like almost like money isn't an object when you're there. I mean, it is, don't get me wrong, but like it's just very much like you are like engulfed in this magic pixie dust everywhere. And I do have to agree with Big L that like as of lately there is more of like a money thing lately, and it is like a less like the magic, like it's just more, right?
Yep. No, I agree with you. It's absolutely. So it's funny the way you mentioned that is true. You go to Disneyland and it's like, it's all of a sudden you have like a wallet that is completely, your wallet
it's
is
like money's not an object.
It's so true. And it happens every time. That's such
Every time. I do have to say, we just I went and my daughter and our best friends had went, and we took him to see Harry Styles, and we went to downtown Disney. We couldn't get a reservation, so we just went to downtown Disney for like a little while before going home. And even the Christmas merch, like it seems a little on the cheaper side. It doesn't seem like there was as much thought and magic that has gone into it as years past.
I've heard that too. I've heard that
downtown Disney wasn't decorated yet, and I know that it's kind of rolling and it's still early, but I don't know. I'm not one to complain about it, but it's just little things that add up to be a big thing.
Well, when you're a fan like all of us are, you learn to love these things and expect these things pretty much every time you go after that. So I'm sure you were going there and expecting to see it decorated for Christmas, because Christmas had already started when you were there. So, so for it not to be decorated, that's why, and and our shows, normally we don't bash on Disney at all. So, and we're not trying to do that. We're just pointing out the obvious that just make it clear that this isn't a bash session on them, but it's just like, why, you're pulling from some things to do other things, but give us what we've always expected, and please, you know what I mean? So I don't know. We could go on and on and on about this for sure.
And to close it out, the simple things, the simple storytelling. That pumpkin on Main Street during the Halloween season brings out millions of guests just to get their photo in front of that.
Oh yeah.
That costs the park nothing. It's those little things. Bring back those little magic.
So what they do this year? They give you a 3-foot pumpkin you can buy for $65. Why not?
I couldn't get it. I tried.
But that's smart merchandising, I think, because that's what everyone knows. Everyone knows. I'm not gonna lie. I know your friend Nicole got the tins.
The popcorn bucket.
I don't know. I like Elliot popcorn, but
it was really cool. It played music.
Okay, then and
it rotates.
I saw pictures of them, like, hey, it's it's like you know what it reminded me of? Those tins of cookies you get at Christmas time with like that are shaped like pretzels and
sugar. Yes, so good.
Are there cookies in it? Because then I'm in, because that would be great. Because
that's fair.
But no, it was popcorn, whatever. And now totally, that's what we do here. We just go off track.
It's okay, because Main Street View, we have a topic of merch flipping and all that stuff coming up. So
yes, we do.
We're definitely deep diving all that.
Oh,
yeah.
Can I be a special guest that time?
Lewis's show.
I'm down. I mean, give us a full-hour debating like this. Why not?
Yeah.
It'll be El Doritos all over again.
I feel like this is going to be the extra magic hour and a half. So.
I know. Sorry.
No, it's all good. No, I'm fine. We just did 2.5 hour Marvel Tribe the other day, which I don't know how we talked about that many things.
Dude, I could have went on for the half hour, 45 minutes. I was excited.
Sam was falling asleep. We had to stop because she's like, it's 11 o'clock, and we're like, okay, give her another chip. Yeah, should have been fine. But other topics we were talking about tonight? Do we hit the hiring freeze on here? I mean, is it really okay? All right.
I mean, I think it's definitely relevant on what we just talked about.
Sure.
The hiring freeze, stuff like that. I mean,
I don't want to sound like an ass, but I have to pee, so I'm going to go do that. So you guys start without me because I can't wait any longer. I'm just being honest.
You don't want that to freeze.
I'll be right back.
Perfect. Okay, so here's my thing. Have they spoke about where those freezes are going to take place? Like, we know that they closed some Disney stores. We know that they've done some restructuring. Instantly, I get defensive and I'm like, dude, you already need more cast members in the park. You don't need to be doing any hiring freezes. You're about to go into the holiday. You don't need to do any cutbacks because you need cast members in the park for all kinds of things. Like, you could put on Merriest Nights for that matter. So before I get feisty and get irritated with them, is it confirmed that they are going to do hiring freezes and cutbacks within the parks? Are we talking about in other areas of the organization itself?
So we have heard that it is coming, but we haven't heard where it's going to hit most. Unfortunately, it's going to hit the parks first because everywhere else you can't hire freeze there. You can't go in. You can't freeze on productions because they're in production and then you lose out more money. It's going to hit the parks first. The thing that makes me mad about this, especially with the parks, you have this reservation system to have less or just enough employees there to make cost. Okay? Well, if you have a limited guest, you have limited staff, that washes out each other. So now we're going to do less staff. So what does that mean? They're going to lessen the reservations and make the reservations even more bullshit? I mean, my thing about it is...
No, because that'll cut into their money. I guarantee you, if that's the case, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I feel so heated all of a sudden. What's going to happen is they're going to drop their cast members, and then the guest rate is still up here, and all of a sudden your freaking magic is gone because your parks are dirtier, your garbage cans are fuller, your bathrooms are dirty, you have wait times for food that are astronomical, you have popcorn lines that are an hour. Screw that.
Wait a second.
That's what's gonna happen.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Was this announced? They're not going to do this in the parks. It was all corporate, wasn't it? It was corporate.
Okay, well, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And from what I understood, it was more corporate. It was more corporate stuff. That was
we weren't sure.
And I hate to say this, but I don't buy that to be corporate. I don't buy it at all.
Okay.
Because if first off,
you're not going to cut money from what's making you money right now. You're not going to stop putting money into what's making you $28 billion this year.
Exactly. That's what I already shared. I think movies and stuff like that they're not going to cut back. They're not going to cut back on anything in production. They're going to cut back on smaller things. Your cast members at the park.
I disagree. I completely disagree. But that's
really,
okay. Yep.
I think the opposite because they're going to expect more out of one cast member than having three there. They're going to have a cast member do this, this, and this when you used to have one do this, one do that, and one do this. Because the cast members and not just cast members in the park, your parking lot attendees, and I don't mean to call them ground level employees. I feel like they should be hired, but your ones
front line.
Your front line. That's a way amazing word. They're going to cut all of that. Your stuff around, either in the parks, around the parks, the stores themselves, the stores in Shop Disney, all that stuff. A lot of the frontline workers are going to take the biggest hit. And why? Because they're going to say, well, we were not hiring no more. You can just do more and this and that. And that's why we keep going into these quarterly employee strikes. They're not going to cut nobody in the corporate level because guess what? If you cut so far up the vein, it shuts down everything else. So you're going to sit there and go down closer where it's not going to make the biggest impactful difference.
And for the record, they didn't say they were getting rid of jobs. They said that they're
not doing that.
They're freezing on hiring right now. And from, like I said, back to from what I might have missed this while I was gone, but from what I understand It was more on a corporate level. And I know that they were told that they can't, they have do more Zoom meetings than like in-person meetings, to cut back on travel expenses, stuff like that, stuff that you would start at. I understand what if you both are saying that. I disagree with both of you. They will not cut from the parks because that's what's making them the most money right now.
Well, and that was my whole thing is when you first went off, like I lost my train of thought. Like I would like to believe that they're not going to cut from the parks. I would like to believe that some of that is from like the Disney stores closing and some of these other entities closing, or maybe staff with Disney Plus, and maybe they're going to do some.
I did hear that some Disney Plus
right?
stuff. Yes, yeah.
And it's like,
hope it's not like, you, Vinny.
I know, Vinny. So like, here's the thing, though. It's like we go and everybody's still going to the park, but your cast members are getting tired. They're getting short-tempered because of the way they're being treated. My garbage cans are going to be more full. My bathrooms are going to be a mess. And it's like, that is going to start taking away. And you may not see that hit right away, and people may still be going. But what's going to happen their next trip, they're not going to freaking choose Disney because that shit, like they're going to remember how the park looked and how they were treated this last time. And they may be doing Disney Cruise Line, like, because you've got, weather. I mean, who knows, like where, and if it's even like, I automatically think local, but you've maybe park numbers are down in Paris or something. I mean, I don't know, like Shanghai.
Is it open again yet? Is it still closed?
I think it's still closed.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was back open. So, I mean, I don't know. I would like to believe that they're not going to cut, but I see that happening, and it's going to affect them later. So they're not going to see the effects from that now. They're going to think, why? People are still coming. But that next trip, they're going to think about that and maybe not choose Disney, and it's going to bite them.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
I do too, because I said that, like, I was nervous.
Right.
I don't want that. Like, we value the fact that we go and we get this service and we get this experience. I don't want to have a Starbucks lobby experience where it's thrashed and the bathroom is thrashed and like there's no intimate conversation, with your cashier. Like, I don't want that. I want the Disney experience.
I completely agree with you, and I don't want that either. I hope that doesn't happen at all.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're going to see cuts at all. Like, I'm almost sure on that because they can't afford to cut anybody right now. But I think the freezes are going to hit company wide. Because you see, there's other shows out there that are doing it. There's restaurants that are not opening or they're closing early because they don't have the cast member availability. Right. So if you don't have it now, why bring them back? If you don't have if you can save that cost for right now, leave it closed. I mean, I can't count how many times I see on Instagram, oh, the Tropical Hideaway is open, but the Bow Station's closed. I mean, that place is always closed because there's no one there ever running it. Same with the restaurant right in front of it. They just reopened it, but it's always, subject to availability because of the fact that there may not be anybody in there. So
Did you guys hear that Jolly Holiday was closed?
I did hear that.
Yeah, Jolly Holiday. Yeah, no, not permanently, but there were people in there with mass cleaning. So I wonder if they had a little COVID outbreak. Yesterday, I think somebody had reported.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, I just think the freezes are a bit. It's all of this is happening all at one time, and none of it's making any sense. Well, let me take that back. It's making sense, but it's making sense in a desperate move. It just seems the Magic Keys coming back, the hiring freeze, all of that, stocks dropping. Everything seems to be just like a desperate move. And it's unfortunate because you have the guests that are willing to spend the money.
Right. No, that's exactly. And that's
yeah. They just, once And once you watch the video that I shared with Sean, once you watch that, they need to take some big risks like that, but big risks like that with the outcome to be beneficial. You're not just swinging for the fences to swing for the fences. To give a brief bio for those that are listening, we watched a video sharing about some purchases that were made in the Bob Iger era and how the domino effect of that is really showing today. So I have changed my perspective on Bob Chapek a little bit. Not 100%. I do still feel like he doesn't have the magic in him, but I can see where some of the challenges are coming from. With that being said, they need to take some of those big swings and utilize that to not buy more, but to invest it back in themselves. We went on a spending spree from 2005 to 2018. Now it's time to spend a little bit more, but to take those returns and invest it right back into the company. Because
go ahead.
That's the biggest thing right now. We're so scared to spend money that we're not making any money.
Mm-hmm. I should have told you about it earlier, Cole. It actually slipped my mind. But yeah, watch it, and I think you'll. But
who's to say though? Like, who knew a pandemic was going to come?
Exactly.
So I mean, he spent a lot, and it's like playing Monopoly. Like the whole point is to buy the whole boardwalk, right? And so like that was his motive, is to just buy it up and kind of let it take over. And I get that part. And then of course 2020 hit, even late 2019 for some of these other countries, and
Bob Iger pieces out, says, "Boom, I'm out. Like, good luck, Bobby C."
Well,
in the beginning
I work for the county even, and we're suffering. Like it's a thing. It's a thing. I don't know why they had to announce a hiring freeze. Keep your effing mouth shut. Like Disney is already on a spotlight. Keep your mouth shut.
It wasn't
Just
announced.
Don't hire anyone right now.
It wasn't. They didn't like put out a press release about it. Someone shared,
leaked it.
Well,
not even leaked it. I mean, I guess you would say, because I saw it. Someone said something that was like a link to a thing. You checked on it, and it was the letter that Bob Chapek wrote to them. It was just
Disney's
wrote it to all of them and said, "Here you go. This is what's happening." It wasn't like,
and are we sure it's not fake news?
I think if it was fake, we would have heard his name right now.
We would have heard something saying that, but it was only like a one-day thing that was talked about. I wouldn't say it was fake news. I mean, from what I read on it, it was saying about cutting costs, like for travel, cutting travel expenses, stuff like that, being smarter with stuff that you could not spend so much money on. But then you hear that, you hear the other side of that, like for New Year's Eve, the rumor is that Disney is sponsoring New Year's Eve, and the ball is going to be have Mickey ears on it as well to celebrate Disney 100. Cool, great idea. Disney owns ABC, blah blah blah. That makes sense. So that's money. So it's like, where are you putting your money? You're announcing these freezes.
ABC could be like, then Disney gets other sponsors to then pay.
I'm sure it was.
We can't assume that. Like, and this is how this happens, right? This is how rumors start.
Of course.
But I have a question for you about spending wise money. If you were in Bob Iger's shoes, what excites you to buy Fox? Name one thing that's going to excite you to spend $74 billion. I mean, granted, it's in stocks and all that other stuff, but equivalent to $74 billion. What does Fox own that's going to get you that return in less than 10 years? In less than 20 years?
It was more for the movie library, because they knew Disney Plus was coming, and then they could add all of that stuff to Disney Plus, to the Disney, Hulu, ABC.
It's the
ESPN.
Monopoly whole concept.
I think and then there was parts of that, from that video. Again, there's parts of that they thought they were getting that they didn't get, and they got screwed in a way from going from like $60 billion to like $57 billion to like $72 billion. And they had to do it because they're already committed. They're already pot committed because they knew they were going to be using that Fox library for Disney Plus and for all these other ideas they have in the future, because they own everything now, if you think about it.
Absolutely. No, and I see that, but I don't see even now. Granted, I'm not in their shoes, but there's nothing in it. I mean, okay, you put your movies on Disney Plus. Unfortunately, most of Fox's library is still under contract to many other distributors, whether that be Netflix, all the other ones that are out there, General TV.
But it won't be forever.
Yeah, it won't be forever, but not. I would assume that most of those movies have probably contract deals, probably up at most 10 years. So there's no real investment there. Lucasfilms, I think it's great that Disney got it. Cool. And they self-sabotage that whole media itself. So all of this happening, it's very unfortunate what happened. But at the same time, I think that's what inflated the stock market. It inflated it. I think where it's at right now is where it was always imagined to be. But it literally, it's like the housing market. The bubble got inflated, and it just popped for Disney. I think the 95 markers where Disney was meant to be at for stocks, because everything that inflated, you go look at the last 5 years and it's all inflated for the big purchases. And now that the dust has settled, they're seeing Disney for what it is. Now it's time for Disney to come out, show the magic, show the storytelling, and say, no, this is what we are, and let it self-grow again.
Well, like Cole said, COVID had a huge part to play in this. If this would have happened, and COVID didn't happen, they would have taken all those Fox properties and expanded and made movies in these past 2.5 years. So I think 95 I think is low. I think 160 where it was a couple months ago or like 6 months ago, I think is makes more sense. It'll get back to that point. I don't understand stocks. I don't understand the stock market. I don't understand it. I just play it from the outside and trying to grasp it. And I don't know. I'm a huge fan of this company. I have faith in them. I will not, they're going to do the right thing. Like you said, the video did make Bob Chapek's job look like it's harder than we thought it would be. He got dealt a bad deal, getting handed all this. And, oh, by the way, it's February. You're the new CEO, Bob Iger. I'm out. Here's COVID. And I'm leaving you with all this. Figure out how to pay for it all. And that's where we're at now. Figure out how to pay for it all. And we're 2 years in from COVID. And but even to bring this back full circle, because we could go on this topic all night long. They will not cut from the parks. I don't believe that. I think the parks are what they cherish. The parks are what Walt built his dynasty on. What any of these CEOs have done is honor Walt's thoughts and how his parks are ran. And I don't see them doing that to give the guest a bad experience. That's all Chapek ever talks about, is giving the customer a good positive experience. And that the number one thing that is cast members. They're not going to get rid of the Disney cast members at the parks to jeopardize what's making them the most money. I will defend them till the end on that. I don't think it's going to happen.
They need more.
If they're bringing more things back, there's going to be more. If they're bringing back Magic Happens, that's more hire. If they're bringing back a new fireworks show, that's more people that they're going to have to do that. They're bringing on Runaway Railway. That's a new thing. They're celebrating 100 years of one of the biggest companies in the world starting next year. They're not going to let it fail and make it look bad. This freeze, they didn't say how long it's going to last. It could be until the end of the year. And I'm not a business person. I don't understand that aspect of business, but this company's been around for so damn long, and they're not going to jeopardize it now. That's my opinion. And
I want to 100% believe that opinion, but some of the stepping stones leading to that. I mean, I have never seen Walt Disney World, but I heard the 50th anniversary was a complete bust. So the stepping
was during the pandemic,
and they made $28 billion last year still in the Disney parks.
It was during, but Magic Kingdom was only closed for 6 months during the pandemic. So
but then they lost a lot of staff members.
Yeah, they're still not back to staff.
they're still not back to staff. And then they also, like, some of the planning and some of, like, their shows and, like, all of those things, and then production of things. And I'm sick of blaming COVID, like, I really am. But I know in my line of work, we're still seeing the trickle down effect of what it's done. But I mean, it was disappointing, don't get me wrong, and some of that, I mean, was on them. But
we're seeing it in a different aspect. You know, in my business says it thrived through COVID. It got better these last 2 years, and now we're just starting to see the decline of, we're coming out of this thing possibly, and now not a decline really, but you can definitely start seeing a change. You can't say you can't blame COVID, because you can, because it caused everything. You know.
Oh, no, I think COVID definitely has room to be blamed, but at the same time, I almost want to ask, like, how long can you? I mean, you're not doing things right now. I mean, even right now, the stocks were up the beginning of the year. For the most part, 2022 has been the checkered flag for most entertainment stuff regarding COVID. Healthcare, medical, all that's still being held. But for entertainment-wise, theaters have reopened. There's been a lot of opportunities to really grow, but it has just been declining steadily this whole year as things were coming back, which doesn't make sense. There's something in that chemical balance that's not adding up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Disney Plus. It is. Disney Plus is not performing. Not that's performing. It's taking too much money from, and that's what any analyst has said. Disney Plus is bleeding the company.
I don't understand how, because I mean, I feel
because
like Disney Plus.
They're making a lot of money, but it costs more to put out all that amazing content.
But I mean, if they were to put up the content on Disney Plus or in movie theaters, like, I mean, and not only that, where's the difference lining? Because I mean, I don't see how I feel like Disney Plus, like a rotisserie chicken. You put the shows on there, you set it and forget it, and just let them be watched. And you put those movies or those 8-part what are they, miniseries, whatever you want to call them, into the theater as a movie. You're going to make double the money you're making right now from a $9 a month streaming service. I guarantee you, because you're going to you're paying $9 right now to watch Turning Red. Let's say once you're paying $9. You're not paying $9 for you, Sally, mom, dad, cousin, and everyone, and $50 worth of popcorn and everything. They put so much into Disney Plus, and I love Disney Plus. I'm not bashing it at all, but I see what it's doing to the company. They said they put everything into that. Streaming is their number one thing, and it shouldn't be.
But they knew it wasn't going to make any money in the beginning.
That's right, but
they knew that.
I think they're spending more now than to try to make it this amazing. Which they're outperforming their estimations, but I think they spent too much money to try to get to what they're trying to get to. When you have Marvel, Fox, and you have Marvel, Star Wars, and you're putting out these Mandalorian can't be cheap to film. You know, all these Marvel movies, WandaVision couldn't have been, Captain America, She-Hulk. Think of everything they've put out. Imagine all those in the theaters making $1 billion each.
So I guess my question would be, why aren't they utilizing that?
I don't know, because before Bob Iger left, they had said their main focus moving forward is streaming. And I know this has nothing to do with Disney parks, and I'm sorry for you folks listening, but it's a topic that this is basically our conversation we're going to have on Sunday, but we're having it now, which is fine. But I don't know where else to go with it, except that they've said Disney Plus is not the problem, but Disney Plus is the cause. Yeah, and going back again to making it parks related, they're not going to jeopardize their park system to cut anything from there, because that's what's making them the most money. That's how I feel about that. You guys have your own opinions. I totally get that and respect that, but I'm all about the parks, and the parks aren't going to do anything to fail. They're going to carry this company, and like they have been for the past 65, 67 years. So that's my opinion. But
no, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I don't think they're going to cut anybody. I just don't think they're going to grow as much is what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't think they're going to cut, but I don't think they're going to water the grass as much either.
Well, that's good because they have fake grass and that Nicole loves.
I hate that fake grass, yo.
I know.
Fake grass makes me so sad. You took a lawnmower job away from somebody.
No, now the guy has a broom and he's brooming it instead of having to use his lawnmower. Or he's up there with his blower blowing it off.
No.
Gives him more time to paint the fences now or something.
Yeah, no.
You don't have to mow the lawns.
No. Work harder or work smarter, not harder. Maybe that's it.
That's what they're doing.
I'm just not a fake grass. I like a little bit more inconsistency in the coloring.
Right.
The blades of grass need to be a little bit different height. Like it's a little too short. I like a little longer blade.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like I got some feels around that fake grass.
I know you do.
I do.
And it's
oh. Yes. Yes. I don't know. I don't know.
You do know. You don't like the fake grass.
Yeah, for reals. For reals. And they better not have like a plethora of fake grass over in Toontown. Because now I'm getting a little nervous because I'm so excited for that area to be this like organic play area.
What if it is fake grass?
It's going to be fake grass because if you're going to have kids and like little areas like that, they have to make sure that it's maintainable to keep clean and keep maintained. If you have a bunch of kids running over the grass, it's going to be all dead.
Oh,
little kids peeing on it and stuff. I mean, if they pee on this, it just dries up.
Just sanitize it afterwards.
Fake grass is coming your way. It's coming everywhere.
Oh man, it's happening. It's happening.
Maybe it'll come to your house soon. Get fake grass.
The castle's fake.
What?
Yeah.
The castle's fake. So
that's true.
Can we change the subject?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay. Let me talk about Leslie Iwerks. Just for a second, like we're already over an hour. Like we already screwed up your whole plan.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so downtown Disney this past weekend, Leslie Iwerks. Like Iwerks family, like is huge within the Disney organization.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I see her book. It's like this thick. This beautiful, beautiful book. I tell who I'm with, I'm going to wait and I'm just going to get that at Christmas. Like I'm going to ask for it. I'm going to put it on my Christmas list. I kid you not. I come out of the Disney home store and I lose my shit. There sitting is Leslie Iwerks.
Oh.
I was like, I'm going to march my butt right back into this store and I'm going to get the freaking book and I'm going to go stand in line. I'm going to get her to sign my book.
Good for you.
So that's what I did. So
Good.
I'm chatting with her. So speed forward. The book is like this big. It's only like $30 and then I got 10% off. It was great.
Boom.
So I'm telling her like, hey, Leslie, how's it going? And I love that Disney, like a lot of these people who are becoming of retirement age, like the Disney, the Women of Imagineering, and there's like some other books that have come out. Like there's a lot of good content coming out in these books, allowing people like me to geek out, right?
Fair.
So we're chatting and I'm just like, she also, sorry, but isn't like a fan of the reservation system. And I'm, chatting with her about it and everything. And I tell her like, okay, so I went to D23 and I sat in on the Marty Sklar and I just was so moved. And I told her that literally, if that's all I got to do, whatever. So I tell her,
agree with you. I was with you. That was the best thing of that whole weekend.
So the nugget of my story, now that I've lost everyone's attention, my nugget of my story is I told her I was the person who stood up because in her presentation, she said, oh, we have time for one more question. I stand up, I take the mic and I'm like, this is my moment. Here I go right now. Her, Leslie, because of you, like, and I give this whole thing, right, of how grateful I am and how much they brought and how much magic and because of what they do, blah, 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 blah. And this heifer behind me has the audacity to say, that wasn't a question. She just wasted a statement on a question. She's not wrong. Like, true. I didn't have a question, and Leslie said, oh, do we have time for one more question? And I chose to give her some of Coalface's feels. Mm-hmm. Do you guys freaking know she remembered me? She said, oh my gosh, that was you. We remembered. Do you understand what that did to all of us? Do you understand how we all went backstage and we're so grateful?
Did you tell her no because this heifer was talking shit about me?
And so she was like, ignore her. But do you know what that did to me? Like, as I'm standing there with her, and she remembered me, like she knew and she appreciated like the shit that I said. And I was like, oh, have a moment. Can we just have a moment? So she signed my book, long story short, and I got a hug. She came in for like a good hug. Like, she's a good ass hugger. So that was really good because I like hugs. And so like, there we go. Like, now I've met Joe Road and I've met his wife, and he does the Women of Imagineering. And like, these books that are coming out have such good history. Like,
you don't even need the books. You're living the books.
I literally, like, I think when we think about how the Disney parks are now and how they were, like, it helps me to go back to that happy place. It helps me to realize like how this all came to be, and how, you know, there used to be no fake trees in the park at Christmas. They used to all be real trees and real or glass ornaments, and now they're all fake trees. Like, anything like that, like, it just brings me back to that history, and I appreciate her. And I fangirled her, and I even hollered when I went out of Love Pop after I was done, and I was like, bye, Leslie! And she was like, bye, Nicole! And like, that was really great. Like, that's where that magic was. Like, I found magic, then go to the park that day. Yeah, that's my story.
What's your story?
Leslie Iwerks and I are BFFs.
It's like,
tell your BFF we need Imagineering season 2.
You got it. I love that show.
Shoot her an email or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Okay. I got you. But anyways, like, it was very cool. There was a lot of writers and signing books that day, and a lot of the 12 people who wrote the Women of Imagineering. Like, a lot of them were there, and Disney has a lot of great books coming out. And it's really cool to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get a book from Cole.
Yeah. There you go.
We'll do like a Nicole's Lewis is up stretching. He's
yeah. His butt's kind of numb. You got like,
we've been locked in here we've been locked in here for 3 hours now.
Yeah. He's like, for the marathon. Here we go. Let's stretch it out. Yeah.
We got to release some of these other videos onto these things of what we do. I left to go to the bathroom during this episode. So, I mean, that's what we do. So let's talk about our sponsor, Getaway Today, for a second. Getaway Today is awesome. They're the best. I'll be interviewing Kim again next week on the 23rd. Yeah. But I also have the opportunity to sit down to talk with Alex and Addie from Disney Universe podcast. They went there on their honeymoon on a 17-day trip to Universal Orlando and Walt Disney World and everywhere. So we're going to talk to them for a few minutes and find out how Getaway Today treated them and the process with Getaway Today. So we'll be back in a little bit, and we'll catch back up, and we'll do a little Disney. Nicole has some Disney parks did you know for us as well. This is basically Nicole carrying the show tonight because so that's good. So we're going to listen about Getaway Today. We're going to hear about Getaway Today, talk to Alex and Addie, and we'll be back with you here in a few minutes.
Well, hello, and welcome to Let's Get to Know Our Sponsor. Getaway Today has been helping Disney vacation dreams come true since 1990. Whether you choose to visit the happiest place on earth or travel to Orlando and beyond, they want to help you. Need to know the best hotel in the area? What theme park tickets should you buy? Have a last-minute change? No worries. Their travel experts are always here to help. Want to book a cruise and don't know where to start? Hey, they can help with that too. They will help you find the perfect cruise for your vacation, whether it is your first time or you're a well-seasoned cruiser. When you book your cruise with one of the Getaway Today's experts, you will have a dedicated agent to help you every step of the way. They take care of the details so you can have the most fun. Getaway Today has layaway, peace of mind travel, allowing you to cancel or make changes up to 72 hours in advance. You will always have the most up-to-date vacation information, both pre-arrival and upon your welcome. Getaway Today will guarantee the best prices with no hidden fees. And every time you book through Getaway Today, they will donate a portion back to a charitable organization in your area. And so far, over $4.5 million has been donated. So click the link in our show notes to start your Disney vacation planning for more information and the best deals. Tell them Walt's Apartment sent you. And until next time, enjoy the view from Walt's Apartment.
All right, everyone, welcome back in. I am so excited to have these two folks with us. We're talking about Getaway Today. You just heard our Getaway Today spot that Nicole does for us. I'm so happy to have Alex from the Disney Universe podcast. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to see you. Good to be in the apartment.
There you go. I mean, we just met like a week ago, so that was cool. We met at MouseCon, which was cool. Your first con, my second con. It was good stuff. And we're here with his beautiful wife, Addie. How are you tonight, Addie?
Hi, Sean. I'm doing well. Thank you. Very excited to be here. Also in Walt's apartment.
I appreciate that. Like I said, Getaway Today, they're awesome. We interview them once a month. They come on and we talk to Kim, who's the vice president, and we talk about things coming up or whatever they got going on. They are awesome. They've been with us since the beginning of this show. And Joey had said that you guys use Getaway Today. You guys went on. Mm-hmm. Congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you.
Off.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. But you guys use Getaway Today to plan your 17-day trip to Walt Disney World, Universal, and everything. So I just wanted
we had initially planned 14 days in Orlando and 1 day in Atlanta. Of course, Hurricane Ian had some other plans for us. But, that's kind of the good, you find the bright sides and everything.
Yeah.
And the good is that we had such a long trip planned. So even losing a couple of days in Orlando still meant we had 10 days.
That's awesome.
The vacation kingdom of the world.
So I just wanted to, like I said, with them being our sponsor and stuff, I just want to talk to someone that used them that in depth and just kind of break down for us, whoever did more of the planning. I mean, you guys should just kind of walk me through the process with them so I understand it more. I know what they do, but I've never talked to someone that used it that in depth. So by all means, tell me what you guys did.
We are more than jazzed to do that. We really appreciated the type of support that they gave for planning such a large trip. And obviously you're putting a lot of money and a lot of effort and a lot of excitement. You get invested in what you're trying to do. So you really want to work with people that you feel like have your back as you go through it, even though they're complete strangers who work for a company that make money off of you going on vacation. Right. So you feel a little vulnerable, but at no point.
To be clear though, they don't charge you a fee.
No. Okay, thank you, Sean. Right. That's accurate. We were not charged anything. I do mean make money. I don't know this about Getaway Today, but I understand just as a position, they get some.
Oh, they get paid by Disney, obviously, for sure. So, yeah.
Yes, and that is all I meant. Absolutely free to use, and just really grateful for their knowledge and the way that they approached us.
Okay.
Yeah, I obviously, I'm a Disney podcast host. We're longtime Disneyland vets, and I like to say this is a vacation I've been planning for 10 years between watching YouTube videos and even back before we were talking a little bit about like past podcasts and the Disney fandom in the internet world. I was a big reader of Mouse Planet's mouse boards, where people would write trip reports. I learned a lot of the shorthand for different parks, MK for Magic Kingdom, HS for Marvel Studios, TOT for Tower of Terror. So just a lot of, we're going to Disneyland all the time, and understanding that going to Disney World was going to take sacrificing some Disneyland trips, and that was not something I was ready to do. So it was a while until, I was able to get married to this beautiful lady and be able to have the trip that I want to have and not just settle for a couple days.
Sure.
So going into that, I could do it myself, but knowing that this was a tool out there for us to be able to just kind of say, here's what we want to do. How do we do it? Help us do it. It was really good. And I think the main thing with that is because we were planning a 2-week trip, we wanted to do a split stay between 3 different Disney resorts.
Yeah.
And I think that as like your casual vacation planner and complete novice with booking Disney World was the part where I was getting stuck on how to book it with the tickets and everything. But we first called and we spoke with Amber. Amber started our journey with Getaway Today and was just kind of like, look, we're going on our honeymoon. It's not necessarily money is no option as much as it's here's what we want to do. Right. And we want to know how much it's going to cost so that we can plan far enough in advance. And I'm pretty sure we were making the first phone calls in February of this year.
We made them early. Yes. Yeah. And I do want to say that we did speak with another company because we said, we heard about Getaway Today from being sponsoring some of the podcasts and I believe one of the YouTube pages that
we ended up shouting out. I apologize at the time.
Oh, it's all good. No, it's
Walt's apartment, but we had to shout out Offhand Disney, one of my favorite.
They're great. I love them.
He's awesome. So that is initially the main place that we had heard of Getaway Today. And then a second company, we spoke with them as well. And what stood out about Getaway Today is it just felt like with Amber and with everyone we've talked to since, but since she was the first person we spoke to, we were like, I was just like, it's just my gut. I feel like I'm in good hands. I feel like their process is cleaner and their concierge service.
And the other place we talked to made it sound like we weren't going to be able to stay in 3 different hotels.
Yes. So we did.
They were like, you can hop from one hotel to the next, but you can't do another
3
one.
So to clarify, over our the 14 days we were going to be there, we were going to stay at 3 hotels, 10 days at Pop Century, 5 days at Coronado Springs, and then 2 days to wrap it up at Contemporary. Nice. We can't afford Contemporary the whole time, but we wanted to get in there.
Right.
And so we were told by one company that wasn't possible. And Getaway Today was like, we can work it out. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out how we can make that happen. So that was a huge decision-making piece. And then I wish I could remember exactly what it was, but something about their concierge. And maybe it was just the way Amber sold it on me, it hit harder. But I felt really confident in the concierge and them helping us get those reservations we wanted.
Yeah, the concierge is a big plus in that, especially for us West Coasters, Disney fans, we all know 60 days out is when you're able to make reservations for dining, which is a big deal over in Disney World. There are so many restaurants in general, but so many great and popular ones that fill up immediately. And so those go live, I believe, at 6 a.m. Eastern time, which would have meant that we would have had to be up and online or on the phone at 3 a.m. Pacific time. So the fact that they were ready to just take a list, I gave a list of probably about 7 or 8 different restaurants with the day we wanted to go and, kind of ballpark of a time. And I think we were able to get 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 9, whatever we did.
I remember the only one that maybe the only one that stood out was Topolino, which was hard to get. And we'd given them a really specific window on a specific day. Yeah. And they were ready to keep going. They're like, we'll look again. We'll keep helping. Alex luckily managed to,
we found a different day. We
figured it out. But
cool.
It was awesome for them to get and specific things. Like I want to end our last day at Hollywood Studios in Oga's Cantina, and they made it happen, which is so awesome.
That's so cool.
Yes. So we Amber was great in, we gave her everything that we wanted to do. She put together a quote for us. And then we were able to chunk that up and make payments all the way through. I believe you just have to have your trip paid in full 30 days before your arrival date.
So that's a piece of advice for folks, especially a big trip, and especially if you do not have the full payment in pocket, is to start that conversation early. I believe you put down a deposit, and then you can start to chunk out. So we put in money every month, just awesome. What we could as we planned. So that was awesome. We put ourselves on a monthly payment plan.
There you go.
But just as a little pro tip, plan early so that you know what your money is. You have that quote for your ticket, for your hotels, for everything. Genie Plus, Memory Maker.
Yeah, all that stuff was packaged in from the job.
And then you can plan out the costs from there.
Is another big thing. And of course, being able to budget for the trip, knowing what's paid for before you arrive and what isn't. Yeah. I know something that was big in Disney World prior to the pandemic was the meal plan that you could include with your trips out there as well, which I will say as a longtime planner of Disney World trip, I was very much looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where I think they end up making the money on it because people don't eat that much. But I, of course, was going dead set with, I am going to make Disney rue the day they gave me the opportunity to get an appetizer, entree, dessert, and adult beverage, all with one sit-down dining credit.
Well, there you go.
Every place I went, of course.
Yeah.
And that still hasn't returned, but I will say they probably do have plans of bringing it back in some capacity, as they were still using the Disney dining plan logos on their new menus for Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah,
because it's not back yet, right?
It is not back yet, or at least as of
not as of.
Right. I have not heard anything.
I'm sure we'd hear, everything on our timeline is whatever's going on in Disney right now.
Everything's rumblings of this or food or this or something's catching on fire or magic so keys are sold out again and blah, blah, blah. And
I know Ryan's at Disney now, and we've got a trip down to Disneyland in a couple weeks. Very excited for Festival of the Holidays food and, of course, Wakanda Forever. Get to try some of the food down there at that booth.
Yeah, I was gonna go in December, and then some things happened. My employee party and stuff is at the same time. I'm like, okay, I can. So I actually was able to switch my reservation, and we're going now on the first day of Disney 100, January 27th.
Oh, amazing! Nice.
So we're gonna go the opening day of Runaway Railroad. I can't even say it. So
Runaway Railway.
Yeah, I can't say it. But so back to get away today.
Yeah,
you guys. So that they take care of everything. I know, and I've heard that you just call them, tell them what you want. They set everything up. And Kim has told me they get on the phones early. They have like a bat line. I think they can actually call in and like do things for you because they are affiliated with them directly. So they can, they do a lot of things directly with Disney. So they can call and say, hey, it's Getaway. Can you do this? And, so you have that for you. And like you said, it doesn't cost you anything, which is cool. But I want to talk about, and I felt bad because I was on a trip in Southern California driving back. I was listening to the Disney Universe podcast, and they hadn't played your episodes of your trip yet. And I'd heard Alex talking about saying, oh yeah, we're going to go down. I'm going to do all this stuff and all this stuff, knowing that the hurricane had happened.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man. And I was like, so I'm glad that everything worked out. So talk about that. Did they step up for the hurricane? Did they reach out to you guys? Did you reach out to them? What did they, or Hurricane Ian just came out of nowhere, and did they help you guys out with that, or?
It was, I'd love to get, I assume they were all hands on deck, and they definitely were putting in extra hours. I guess to me, I'm just interested in like how they prepare for this,
right?
Knowing it's coming, and it means that I guess probably similarly to the way the Disney cast members do. They have that I forget what they call it, all hands crew or whatever. Yeah. Oh, the Ride It Out crew is what they call it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so we were in Atlanta when we found out that our flight was canceled to Orlando. We literally, had we landed 2.5 hours sooner, we would have been in Orlando. So we just missed the cutoff. But again, overall, it was a blessing because had we got to Orlando, we would have been stuck in our hotel room for 3 days with nothing going on. And so we had been receiving communication from Getaway today and emailing them back, which was very quick and responsive. This was all within about 2 hours, to the point where the communication, you know how it is with texts or emails, at a certain point, it's easier to just talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so I got a call from Brooke, who had helped us out with some other things along the trip, some of the special events that we were booking. And the thing that she said that really, I think, made it a lot easier for me is tell me what your best case scenario is. And we're going to work to get that. Because it was, it's such a fluid situation. It's like, all right, you're here for 14 days. It's now going to be 10 because that's as soon as you can get there. Right. So what do you want? You've already paid for the hotel. You have a 10-day ticket in 10 days. So we opted to obviously have refunded the days of the hotel that we couldn't be there and then change our ticket from a 10-day to an 8-day. So we still had a couple of rest days and things in there. And, without saying much more, she just went in, I presume on their bat phone, talking to Disney, just trying to make these things happen.
Right.
And we got exactly that. I'm pretty sure we got refunded the money for the hotel and ticket portion before we even arrived in Orlando, which was nice to have a little bit of that money back in our pocket for the trip as well.
For sure.
But it was a stressful moment for us in our vacation, being in a city that's not our home, having another destination to go to. At that point, we didn't have a hotel for the next night in Atlanta.
Nope.
We didn't know, I think we had just booked our flight Sunday to get to Orlando.
So that's 4 extra days in Atlanta with nowhere to stay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like no plan, and needing to reschedule the honeymoon and figure out refunds and everything.
Right. And obviously I'm sure if we had asked, they might have helped us find situations in Atlanta, but we had friends and family there.
Yes.
It was more that they were so good at quickly rectifying or just fixing what was going on in Orlando. So we didn't have to worry about that part.
Sean, I would venture to say, if you are planning to take any length of trip over like 3 or 4 days, or if you have never been to Disney World, period, and you are planning to go during hurricane season, which is June through October,
right?
It is a big chunk of the year. I would almost venture my highest recommendation would be to work with Getaway Today, because frankly, just the fact that in that stressful moment, a hurricane is coming, everything gets canceled. The fact that Alex was able to talk to Brooke and she was like, I'm doing everything for you. We got to focus all of our attention to, and like he said, I'm sure if we'd asked them and talked to them that they might have had ways to help us.
Sure.
Since we were somewhere, my aunt, my cousin, I have family in Atlanta. Good. We have friends in Atlanta. So we got to push all of that effort into actually making our plan for that. So in a really stressful situation where we could have had 500 things on our plate, we got to focus on the most immediate things while they carried the rest of the burden.
That's awesome.
And for free. We didn't pay Getaway Today any money.
Yeah. That's so
they
cool.
did this for us.
I'm actually going to play this whole thing for Kim that we're recording right now to listen to, because this is awesome. I appreciate talking to you guys. I have to ask, was the Contemporary as cool as it looks?
Oh my gosh.
I think so. 100%. We had a blast staying there. It's, when you're coming from different resorts, all the different transportation at Disney World, you're riding buses or whatever. And then I think at one of the points, didn't we time from getting on the monorail? Because if you know the resort loop at or at Disney World, coming from Magic Kingdom, Contemporary is the first stop. But obviously going to Magic Kingdom, you have to go through 3 other stops, the TTC, Polynesian, and Grand Floridian. So from leaving the gate of Magic Kingdom to our hotel room, less than 7 minutes.
It was like 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then walking was just over 10, maybe 13 or 14.
The walking path was pretty close as well.
It's really close.
Walking right next to Space Mountain.
And 15 at best, and that's with a red light.
Right.
Like you have to wait for the road. So it is remarkably close. It is very cool to be on a monorail and get dropped off inside the hotel.
Yeah, that seems pretty badass. I'm not gonna
lie. Mary Blair music. We were right in front of the 5-legged goat, which was
come on.
We opened our door.
Literally.
The 5-legged goat was right there.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Contemporary is a big history buff. Disney history buff was amazing.
Oh, contemporary. There's a lot of stuff's happened there.
Yeah.
The thing I would say is if it's not necessarily in your price range, it's so accessible to just enjoy the different resorts in Disney World.
Yeah.
In our initial plans, we had planned entire days just to go explore resorts.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're making a Disney World vacation, make the time for that. Yeah. Take advantage of the concierge to, book a dining reservation in one of the hotels.
And I just want to double down on the concierge service. Like how cool it was we were like making all the reservations for where we wanted to eat and what we wanted to do inside the parks that, require reservations. It was as easy as Alex and I sitting down and writing an email being like, ooh, I want to be at Oga's Cantina. I want like the latest reservation on this day. It was that simple. Oh, we want to do brunch at Topolino like on this day, or like we want to do Chef Mickey's in the morning before we're going to the park. So we were like the place we want to go, the date and the time. And sometimes it's just a frame like brunch. Right. So we want to like wrap up before 4. And we just woke up one morning, again, 3 a.m. our time was when we would have made the reservations. We wake up, 7, 8 to an email of like, here's all your confirmations.
Oh my gosh.
Again, that's for awesome. No money on our part, obviously, other than what we're paying to go on the trip. No extra money. Yeah. Phenomenal. Like those were incredible. And I didn't realize just how much less stress. Because when we first started planning, Alex knows so much about all the parks and everything. And he is really genuinely so smart about this. And you've got a great brain for process. So he's thinking about the parks we're going to go and how we're going to be able to do all of this stuff. But to be able to like do that the fun stuff, the fun planning, the parks we want to be in, the things we want to do, and then to take all the like administrative part and give it to someone else.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's like make the reservations for us.
It's kind of like a free VIP tour.
Literally.
Because I've done the VIP. I've talked to Alex about this. I did the VIP tour a couple of years ago. It's expensive, but it sounds like it's the same idea. I remember they called me and said, okay, Sean, what do you want to do? And I said, well, the kids are going to want to see the characters. They're going to want to meet the princesses. And I just emailed them everything we wanted to ride. And it was the same kind of thing. So we get there and the guy's like, okay, with this, and this, and we're going to go here. We're going to block off this. Your whole 20-member family gets to walk into the bippity boppity whatever in front of everyone else, and $6,000. But I would say it's totally worth it. That's
awesome.
It was absolutely amazing. But I need to have you guys on this show again because you guys are awesome. So, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk about Getaway today. I'm going to definitely give this to Kim for sure, because like I said, I talk to her every month. I'll talk to her next week, but I can't thank you guys enough for taking 20 minutes, 30 minutes out of your time on a Thursday night, missing the football game. But I appreciate you guys. Alex, it was nice to meet you. Addie, it's nice to meet you in person.
So nice to meet you.
Alex, where can we find your podcast?
Disney Universe Podcast, wherever your podcasts are found, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Anchor.
All of them. But you're on Anchor?
Or maybe that's
I'm
Stitcher.
Pretty sure. No, I think
I try to just steer people to Apple and Spotify. Now, Coke and Pepsi, get in line.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm almost positive they're on Anchor, Sean, because I had not heard of Anchor until Joey started talking about it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think I could be wrong, and I'm very sorry if I'm wrong. But
you're totally fine. It's all good.
Alex, wherever you get your podcast, look up the Disney Universe Podcast.
You guys have been around forever.
With us on Instagram. We love posting. We posted most of our vacation through Instagram stories on there, and then Disney Universe TV on YouTube. We're trying to get up to a certain subscriber threshold so we can start doing lives on there and show awesome content from the parks and from cons like where we met.
Heck
and, for now we have awesome other recorded parks content, reactions to Disney Plus content, and unboxings of cool collectibles.
And then one last thing to plug, our little baby Instagram page that we have, Callie Curly Couple.
We do not have a baby yet.
No,
I was going to say, baby, wait a second.
our baby is an Instagram
Thank
page.
you. No, it's a small Instagram page, not a baby.
What's it called? Callie what?
Size.
That's true. Callie Curly Couple, because we both have curly hair. It's an Instagram page that we share where we just post. So there's some flow over, much more casual.
Alex, send me that so we can follow it. Send me that.
I got a get my curly hair back. I
there you go.
it during the summer because
it's hot. It's coming back. I see them on their way.
Guys, I appreciate it. Alex, Addie, thank you so much for taking your time. And let's get back to the Extra Magic Hour.
That sounds awesome.
All right. Getaway today. We love Getaway today, don't we?
We do love them.
We do love them. 4.5 million.
Million.
me and Lewis are just going. We're just like, oh. I can't even see. Lewis is just laughing his ass off.
But you know that from the Minions, million.
It's well, hello and million.
It wasn't until I think last week or the week before I was listening to the Extra Magic that I texted. I was like, "Is that Nicole?"
He didn't know it was you. Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, because normally when I'm on my phone, the audio from the little videos does not come through at all. Like it's very well. I was sitting there playing. I was doing stickers, and I was like, "Cool," and I heard it. I was like, "Wait a minute, that's not him."
Pocket goal.
Okay, so here's the deal when it comes to Disney parks. Did you know? I didn't do one. I don't think Lewis did one. We were too busy playing the marshmallow game. So, Nicole, do you have any Disney parks? Did you know for us?
I always have Disney parks. Did you know? And I guarantee you, Big L will come through by the time I finish this.
His eyebrows just raised up.
I got you. Though. I'll come with it.
Okay, I still got nothing.
11 minutes in, so it's fine.
False news right here. I got you.
False news. There you go. So it wasn't until 2000. Let me see. I already forgot.
Oh my God, I thought you had this wrapped up.
Yeah, it wasn't until 2007, 2008 that they started going with artificial trees. So before in the park, except for the large one, obviously, but before in the park, they were all real trees that they would bring in. And originally, the castle didn't even have snow on it. And they would just have these awkward trees in the moat over by the castle. Mm-hmm. And you would think that they would have snowy white flock trees, by the castle to then put the ornaments on and make them all beautiful. But no, they were burnt. They called it burnt sienna, which is the color, but it's this copper color that the trees would turn because they freaking died because it was LA, real trees. And obviously the Christmas season, they didn't last. And then it was in 1961 that the movie Babes in Toyland premiered. And that's kind of where the whole Nutcracker and the Toy Soldier came to be. So that's very, very exciting. And then they have been doing Christmas since 1955. And they, obviously continue to do it until this day. So that's very, very fun. And it has expanded. So it started out, with Garland and Main Street and the castle. And then now today, we have it in New Orleans Square, and they always do the green and purple ribbon. So their holiday season kind of goes with the land. So Critter Country, it's more outdoorsy and pine cones, and Toontown is very animated and cartoon Disney, mm-hmm. or not Disney, but Christmas. So it's fun to always see how it's evolved over the years. So my Disney Did You Know is that we had real trees until 2008. Long story short.
Well, I love it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't do it.
Okay, Big L.
I was the one off today. You would have thought I would have actually put some focus into the show.
So mine is not a Disney Parks Did You Know, but it's a Disney Did You Know. I just learned this one fairly recently. My buddy Ears told me about it. Did you know that Hocus Pocus, the gentleman Billy, the way his mouth is sewn It is sewn to be the Roman numeral number 13. It is an X and 3 stitches to show the number 13 in the unlucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
Now I have to look. Let me look.
He pointed that out when I did the Frankenstein design right here. He's like, Louis, you know his mouth says 911? I'm like, what? And I have a single stitch, an X stitch, and a 1. And he's like, yeah, yours says 911. And so he told me, he's like, did you know Billy from Hocus Pocus' lips are sewn shut and it says 13? I was like, wow.
Let me look at these images.
I had no idea. Cole's checking right now. Fact checking it.
Fact check.
Yep, no false news here.
Nope.
Unlike me.
It's all good.
You just did the wrong keys, that's all.
Yeah.
They weren't magical, they're just keys.
They're just keys.
Keys.
Someone was selling keys.
Oh, sure as shit. It is 13.
All right. So I think we've come to the end of the Extra Magic Hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you both. Appreciate you, Lewis. Thank you so much. Cole, appreciate you.
Yes. Big L, it's always fun chatting.
Always. And if you want to catch some more of this Bob Chapek, Bob Iger, what's the company doing? You can catch myself and Sean not this Sunday, but after the Sunday.
Next week.
Next week we're going to be deep diving all of this information. So we'll bring out the gloves, we'll bring the marshmallows in, and we'll have a good time.
Absolutely. Again, appreciate you both. Thank you so much. We won't be on next week, so hope you all have a great Thanksgiving break. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. And we hope you have a magical day. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
It's kind of weird to say magical day, but then I say good night. It's kind of odd, huh? But
the sun never sets on Disney.